Hello YouTube! We are back with another dungeon challenge mode guide, and this time we are going to be looking at the Forges of Khazad-Dum. One of the easier ones in my opinion. But yeah, so the whole challenge mode of this dungeon is to complete the dungeon in 30 minutes after you defeat the first boss. So on the right hand side where it says challenge Cran Cluck daily, so you have to defeat Narku to alert Cran Cluck of your presence. Once you defeat the first boss, then a timer will start appearing on that, like under that quest, so you can the game helps you keep track of it. As a quick disclaimer, this is me just talking over the recording. I recorded this dungeon, this video, in the late hours of the night when a random group was looking for someone to do forges with. I thought, oh, you know what? This would be a good time to just showcase the dungeon and do a video on it. So I'm just talking over it, and there'll probably be a lot of cuts and stuff as I just skip through parts that you don't need to see, because it can be a long dungeon. So this is the first boss. The timer hasn't started yet. This boss has two mechanics. You beg too much for my attention. What happens here is if you continuously do damage and don't look away, the boss puts a debuff on you and then does damage to you. As you can see here, he says, "I warned you," and then he did a chunk of like half my health, basically. As you can see, I ignored the mechanic, but if you have a lower health pool, like some of the people in the group here that are under 3k health, I would recommend stop attacking the boss and looking away, just to make sure that the boss doesn't actually kill you, because it is a good chunk of health. So there it is again. You beg too much for my attention. What that person should do is stop attacking and look away. He ends up running behind the pillar, which is great. It says, "I warned you," but the boss can't hit him. So it's all good. The other thing the boss does, as you can see, is the giant fire on the ground. Don't stand in the fire. Ads spawn, kill the ads, and that's it. That's the end of the fight. After the first boss, you now have the timer. It's ticking down. You have 29 minutes and 30 seconds. So what you have to do is go down the track. You're going to be stunned by these trolls. It's just the way it is. Back in the day, if you had a lore master, you could put stun immunity on everyone and just ignore this mechanic. But now today you can only do that if you have a yellow LM in the group. But just walk through the trolls. You might need some heals if you have a smaller amount of health, but they're just there to be annoying, and that's it. Now for this boss, you see there's these glowing barrels here. You take these barrels and you put them into the gates that open up. There's 6 doors that need to be blown up, so you take the powder kegs and you use them on the doors. And by use them, I just mean like you literally just pick them up, as you'll see here, and you just walk them over to the door. I think I had like maybe you get like 10 to 15 seconds to just walk over, drop off the keg, boom, blows up. That's it. Super easy. Do that 6 times. And you can start fighting the boss. The boss will continuously summon ads as the doors are open. Make sure a troll leaves the door before you walk in, because of course you're sitting there waiting and waiting. A troll doesn't walk out yet. Then by the time you pick up the keg and you go walk to the door, the troll now all of a sudden leaves. So if the troll does step on you while you have the keg, you do drop the keg and you have to just do it again. After 3 doors explode, the boss will summon 2 trolls. The 2 trolls cannot be damaged or well, they can be damaged, but they can't be killed, as the boss will heal them. So this is just a point where the tank will take a lot of damage. Healer has to be aware and just help out the tank where he can. So now we're going over to destroy the last door. The boss comes down. When the boss says you will not harm these two, that's him healing the trolls. So that's why you can't do damage to the trolls until, or can't kill the trolls until the boss is dead. This is the boss that does the fire dot that people keep saying that you use the pouch on. Feel the bite of black powder. So it's a big explosion, and there's now a fire dot on me underneath there. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but it can kill you if you don't have a lot of health, and that's the dot that you use the pouch on. The pouch is in your inventory. You don't have to go up and click on it. It's just there. It used to be something that you have to pick up, but you actually don't have to do that anymore. It's just in your inventory. And yeah, so if you're worried about dying to the dot, use the pouch. You only get one, so you do have to use it wisely. You used to have to go up and pick up more and more as the fight went on, but you don't have to do that anymore. You can also outrange it a bit by like standing further back, but again, I'm not too worried about it because our healer was really good and my gear is really good, so I wasn't at risk of dying. But yeah, that's all there is to the second boss. After you kill the boss, you kill the trolls, and then you continue on. This is the boss, though, that really messes groups up. People think that you have to use the pouches on this boss. This boss doesn't have pouches. You can see there's no pouches by the barrels or the boxes. There's nothing here. So what you have to do, how it used to work in the initial release, is you wanted to stay spread. So the boss, right there. Right? Let's look at that again. And this is why this is another reason why I recorded this, to really break this down, to showcase this. So the first mechanic that the boss has is dance, dance, dance. And what'll happen is you'll see on the right side here, this vent will open up and start shooting out fire a little bit, and then it'll blast the fire out in a straight line. So there's a little bit of fire. And then eventually what's going to happen is it's going to blast out. Now what happened here is the mechanic that gets everyone killed. So the boss said burn and then the player's name. What you want to do is stay spread. And this is why the boss is designed this way, and so that they try to make you move so that you cause this to happen. So we talked about dance, dance, dance. There's a player here, and then eventually the boss will say burn, and the player will be kind of behind this weird, I don't know what to call it, mechanism. But this player will move this way. There's the burn. He's going to explode because he's exploding because this player is actually too close, but this person's also moving into him. This explosion back in the day was only supposed to happen when you're two grouped up. And now that you're two grouped up, the damage of the explosion, one, does more, and two, it's going to hit these other people. So it can be bugged sometimes where it's just going to explode, but the idea is that you don't want to stay grouped. When you're spread out, this explosion won't happen and you're fine. But if you do have a small health pool, you will just instantly die. So there's another dance. There's fire coming this way. I just move over just to make sure I'm safe, but I was pretty much safe. The trolls will still walk on the track, so don't get stunned by the trolls. We're a little bit close here, so I reposition myself to not be too close. Give everyone space. There's dance again, and there's another one, right? This person actually almost killed the entire group, but we have a lot of health, so it's okay. So we got burn, right? Or dance, and then we got burn, and this lore master here is being targeted. What he should do in this scenario is either back up, and I would back up as well, giving him space, or everyone else around him should move. And this is what kills most people. But instead, he moves to the tank. And because he moves to the tank and is too close to people, it triggers the explosion. And now he's almost one-shot himself. If the tank had low health, if the healer had low health and was too close at this point, then the whole group would have died. But we're still safe. We're all good. We can keep going. So anytime you get a conjunction on these bosses, the fellowship maneuvers always go yellow. You want as much damage done on these bosses as possible. That was interesting that I just noticed that the boss put called out the tank but burned the links with it. Which, this is why I say that the boss is really buggy, as the link just got evaporated by the boss explosion. But yeah, so that's the entire mechanic, and I also want to showcase why you want a lot of health on this fight. See, like fully buffed, I have over 4k. And because I get the mechanic, but I live it. So burn. I should have been far enough away where it wasn't supposed to trigger the explosion, but it went off anyways because that's how it works, right? I'm being targeted by the explosion. It may have actually triggered because there's a body here, which shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen, but it may have been because this game is old and the coding is funny sometimes. So that's why it went off. It may have been why it went off. It may have just gone off for a bunch of different reasons. But anyways, because I have over 4k health, when it explodes, I'm still alive. 3.6. And that's with full mitigations. 3.6k. That's a lot of damage. And that was with a Runekeeper bubble as well. I had a bit of a Runekeeper bubble. So that's where the healers is aware that these mechanics are happening. So they use their big abilities when something like this happens. I lived, one, because of my health pool being so high, and two, because of the Runekeeper. So now when it goes off, but because I was also by myself, no one else was part of that explosion. The damage wasn't increased. The healer now only has to worry about me, and we're trying to help our healers as much as possible in this fight. All right, so now the boss is dead. We still have 18 minutes. We res people, and now we go to the final boss. Always kill the trolls first. This boss doesn't do anything super specific. There isn't... He really doesn't do anything anymore. Kill the trolls so the tank's taking less damage. And just once the trolls are dead, just focus the boss. The only thing this boss does is this eye of the... Oh, let me go back a little bit, because I wanted to showcase this. Right there. Eye of the Storm. So what this boss does is he has this fire mitigation and light mitigation. It starts off as a debuff. So he has lower fire mitigation and lower light mitigation. So this is where, as a lore master, all of my fire skills will do more damage. As a minstrel, if you're a red minstrel, your skills will do more damage. Warden bleeds will do more damage. But this will reverse, and it'll go up to 100% mitigation at some points. That's where your skills will do almost zero. Will do zero damage. So this is where you can do a whole bunch of damage. It starts to go away. There's probably about now like 5 seconds left on it, and then eventually what it'll get to is this. Right now it's green, so now it's at, and you can see that my skills are being absorbed. So now I have the storm. Oh, the timing was bad. It's still lower mitigation, but there was a point where he was absorbing, right? It's because it was at 100% mitigation, so I wasn't doing any damage. But trolls spawn again, so we kill the trolls. They fall over. This is a healer mechanic. What you're supposed to do is not heal for a little bit. You weren't supposed to heal for a little bit, and then you wouldn't get silenced or something like that, or you wouldn't take damage. But again, it's a mechanic that can be ignored for the most part now. Here we go. So he absorbed. I used a bunch of fire skills. Absorbed. So now he has a plus 100% fire mitigation, plus 100% light mitigation. So now my fire skills won't do any damage. Red minstrels, they won't do any damage. Fire RKs, you won't do any damage. Wardens, half your skills won't do damage. So now we get to the point where, like, the last, what, like 25% or so? This is where the boss runs off and starts the forge. So now you have to keep moving backwards, avoiding the flame, continuously moving, so that you can avoid the fire and not burn. But also, trolls keep moving on the track, so don't stand on the track, and the boss will eventually die. And that's the entire fight. So yeah. The main gear from here that drops is there's a tactical necklace that increases all tactical damage done by, I think it's like 2%. So if you're a tactical class, this dungeon has some good loot for you. But that's the end of the dungeon. So I hope you found this helpful. We're about halfway done all the Moria dungeons now. If you enjoyed this, leave a like, leave a comment. And I hope to see you in the next video. Bye-bye.